Well, so this is exciting. I have not done a video in forever. So if we're awkward, don't come for me. Anyway, hello, what's up? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Angel and today I wanted to give you 5 uncommon Japan tips. Like these aren't your regular, oh, buy your Shinkansen ticket online before you go wherever you're going type of tips. You can find it anywhere. These are from like my personal experiences that I think are really gonna make a difference in your life, like your day-to-day life in Japan. If you're wondering like, oh, why should I listen to this girl about some tips about Japan? What does she know? She's in the States right now, like blarg. A little bit about me. In 2016, I moved to Tokyo to go to a Japanese language school. I went to KCP International for the first 6 months. And at the end of the 6 months, I was like, oh, I think there's still more for me to do here in Japan. So I called my family up. I'm like, hey, I'm not coming home. And I found a job and moved to Saitama. Yes, northern Saitama, more towards Gunma. Love it. And then I was teaching English at elementary schools, you know, living my best life, traveling, participating in like festivals, got engaged, moved in with my fiance's family, just, you know, normal things. So I would like to think that I know a little bit of something. And I know you're going to listen to these tips and think this girl is nuts. And you're not wrong. But I'm just, you know, just trying to like do something fun once in a while. But they are valid tips. But yeah, let's get started. And I'm going to go from probably like my least useful to the most useful. All right, so tip number 5. Always check for custard in unexpected places. And I know you're like, Angel, what does custard have to do with anything? Everything. So picture this. The year is 2016 and it's probably February or so. And, you know, you've gone out all day, you're at your school, your language school, you know, trying to do the whole Japanese language thing. And then you're ready to go home and just have a nice treat. So you stop by the local Komediida, it's a grocery store, by your apartment, and you're like, oh wow, the little bakery section has some apple pie. So you're like, I want apple pie. I love apple pie. Apple pie is like, you know, part of the whole American experience next to hamburgers. According to overseas, I need apple pie. So you get this apple pie, you take it home, you warm it up a little bit, you're so excited, you're ready to eat it, you take a big bite of it, and guess what's inside? Custard. Who puts custard in apple pie? For the record, I hate custard, and I've never been as disappointed in my life as I was that day. And then after I had that one custard experience, I started realizing that custard isn't like every single dessert. For some reason, like Japan just loves custard and they put it in places where I don't think it belongs. So, I mean, if you like custard, then that's fine. But I still think back to that day and I get so heated because I hate custard. Like, why would you make custard ice cream? You make like ice cream that's like apple pie flavored and then like the main base is like a custard ice cream. And I just get so mad. So if you're expecting like custardless desserts, I'm not saying that they're hard to find, but just know that a lot of things are going to have custard. So that's my first tip. Always check for custard, whatever. Now let's start getting more serious. Tip number 4. If you find something that you like, hoard it. One set of words that you are going to learn very quickly is Kikan Gentei. Limited edition. Because everything that's good and pure and lovely in Japan is limited edition and it goes away. They had like these honey and vanilla Ritz. Love them. They were so good. But guess what they were? Limited edition. And then they also had like the little apple cider drinks that has like the little jelly inside, like these certain kinds that had the apple cider ones, and then there was like a grape one. I didn't really like the grape, and they also had like an orange flavor, and they have like the little jelly inside the what is it, nata de coco, and then you like shake it up, and then you drink it, and it's like so good. Limited edition. Yuzu drinks, yuzu everything, limited edition. Normally yuzu is like a winter thing, so I kind of get that, but everything that you find that's great is always limited edition. So if you find something that you like, and I'm so serious, like hoard it. But also while you're hoarding things, don't be like me and eat them at the same time as hoarding them, because then you're back to square one and you don't have any when they go away. That's what happened with the Ritz. So pro tip right there. Number 3. Make sure, especially if you have sliding doors, that you lock your doors and close them. Close them all the way and lock them. Especially if you live in like a big city. I know everybody's like, oh, but Japan's so safe. Like, why? I feel so, I could just run to the store and leave my door open and nobody will take anything. And listen, you have creeps and stuff everywhere. So that's the number 1 reason why you should lock your door. I will admit that where I lived, like I mentioned briefly in the beginning, I moved into the family house for a little while. Don't ask how we got there. If you want a different story, I'll let you know. And they never locked their doors. My town wasn't that big anyway, I guess, but the door was never locked. I mean, somebody was always sleeping downstairs, like right near the Genkan area, but you know, whatever. So I think one night somebody came in and did not close the sliding door all the way. This is an old Japanese house. They didn't close the sliding door all the way. So you know, it's the middle of the night, everybody's sleeping, and then all of a sudden my fiance gets out of bed and he's just like, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? And he's like, oh, Shido got inside. Shido is this random neighborhood cat. Like the cat came inside the house in the middle of the night and was just running around. And so he had to get up and take this little cat and take him back outside. Like, hey, you can't be here. Because he wasn't like the house cat, he was just the neighborhood cat. And so, you know, close your doors. Things can come inside. You don't want things inside. You don't want animals inside. You don't want people coming inside. Just close and lock your doors. All right. Like, that's my serious tip of the day. Tip number two, find a way to de-stress. I don't think people always talk about how living in a place where the culture is so different than yours can be taxing. And then there's certain events or certain days, some days where, you know, you will really experience a lot of friction between like your culture and their culture, or I experience a lot of microaggressions at work and in my community. You know, you need to find a way to let all that go. Personally, I think you should go to the batting center. Batting cages. English is batting cages. Whatever. Go to the batting center. I love batting centers. You knock that ball clear, not out the park. Probably won't even get a home run. Maybe it'll just roll if you even hit it, but it feels great. But still, regardless, take care of yourself, especially if you don't really have like a really strong community or people that you can talk to. Like really find a way to let go, de-stress, so that, you know, you can go to bed at night and the next day get up and feel like, hey, you know what, I can still do this. Because sometimes it can wear on you. And I don't think, you know, people really mention that enough. It's always like, you can't say anything negative about Japan and living in Japan is great and this is going to be the most fun ever. Like, And it's not like that all the time. It's really not. It's, you know, you have those issues everywhere. You will have issues living wherever you live, but you really have to know how to cope with those stresses. And I think it's really important to be able to do so when you're, you know, on your own overseas. So look, see, I told you I was going to get a little serious. They weren't all crazy tips like the custard, but that custard one is serious. I wish I could put that as number 1. Like I really Whew, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I will rant about custard. Rant. Can't stand it. I'm putting custard in apple pie. If you like custard in apple pie, please tell me. Like, I don't understand why you would put custard in apple pie. I'm sorry. Let's move to number 1. Let's gather. Tip number 1. And this is probably the most important tip that I will say for your whole experience, wherever you are, whether it's Japan, whether you're back in your hometown, wherever. Get involved. Like, seriously, get involved with your community, get to know people, try to get people used to seeing you. It's very beneficial to you. If you have that chance where somebody's inviting you to, deepen your relationships with the community around you, take it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do events and things all the time or like teach extra classes or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can get involved, definitely do. And I'll give you a reason why. So in my experience, I moved to my town and I'm teaching, and then I had made a friend with my coworker. So he was another American. And one of the teachers at his schools, who's a Japanese teacher, had invited him to help out with carrying the portable shrine, the omikoshi, during festival. So he was like, all right, bet. I'm going to come and I'm going to invite the other ALTs. So he was like, hey, OJ, you want to come? And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'll pop through and watch. First off, there was no pop through and watch. They were like, hey, you're here. Great. We need extra hands. Put on, just like, yo, let's go. You're going to help carry. And I'm like, me? You know what? Fine. Let me go. And that experience ended up being one of the best experiences that I've had in Japan. And I did it every single year that I was in Japan. Festival is fun. You see all your students and like their parents, so they see you getting involved and they're like, wow, you like really take an interest in the community. You're pretty serious about this. And I'm like, yes, I am, boo. And I know that doing actually being physically involved in the festival isn't something that everybody gets to do. So it was a really good experience as well, getting to carry the shrine. And you go around the town, you're walking with this heavy shrine on your shoulder. There's a bunch of us. And the people that, you're experiencing this activity with, you're meeting their families, and then you go back when you finish like the main meeting point and y'all have dinner. And then of course you're going to have drinks because they can drink over there. Festival is like, bring your extra liver. You'll have drinks and everything. And, you get closer with those people. And those people ended up always being a really good source of support for me. And then they always would ask me like, ask, how are you doing? If you need anything, if I didn't show up to a festival related event where they got together, they was like, yo, where's Angel? And if, one of the person who invited me didn't show up, it's like, hey, is he okay? What's going on? And actually having that experience is what led me to meet my fiance, because he was carrying the omikoshi as well. So if I decided to stay in bed that day and just not get involved, I would have never set off a chain of events where I met my fiance. I met a whole bunch of people. People in the town got used to seeing me, which is great because I hate getting stared at when I go places. So that's just one example of me getting involved with the community, but I think it does lead to a more fulfilling experience. And that was number 1. So I guess I do have a bonus one for you. Learn the language. There's no way around it. You're going to have to learn the language. There's no, you don't lose the air of mystery by not learning the language, because you're going to learn a language and it's going to lead to more questions, for real. But it's only going to benefit you. Now, if you want to learn the language and also learn when it's going to benefit you to not let people know that you know the language, then you can totally do that, because there are situations where that is helpful when you're just like, that look like, yo, I'm listening to you talk trash about the other teachers in the school and you think I don't understand you, but I do. That was me at work all day. And they'd be like, oh, Angel, do you understand? But no, seriously, learn the language. And that is all. We reached the end of my paper. So I think we're going to end the video here. I might do an actual, like, this was, it got pretty serious, but I might give some more like general Japan tips. Because I really do think I have some unique experiences. But for now, I'm gonna let you guys go. I know you got other things to do besides sitting here listening to me talk, and I know I'm supposed to be working, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.